So I'm looking at that and I'm going, who else has some of that depth? And my mind wandered to Arch Manning. So a segment that I had written down here is what separates Arch Manning from Shedeur Sanders, which I thought was an interesting conversation to start with and have. Yo, dog, a lot, but it's a similar caliber of player. And let me walk that out before some of y'all want to throw shade at Shedeur, because I know how y'all be. Y'all don't want to hear nothing. Y'all don't want to talk to nobody first. So I did this thing for Fox Sports called Top 100 Superstars, where I was marrying popularity with playmaking ability, and I was ranking the top 100 players in the sport. And the number one, I got Shedeur Sanders, because no player is more popular and has that level of playmaking. Behind him, I got Travis Hunter. But at number 11, I had Arch Manning, and then at 12, I got Jeremiah Smith. I got JJ. JJ is him. Like, we know that. But he plays wide receiver, which is a dependent position, dependent on how good the quarterback is at getting you the football, okay? Arch plays quarterback, where it really is dependent only on how good the offensive line is, and Texas has an offensive line that can bully people this year. I got all these people showing up to tell me Texas is big. Big compared to who? Big compared to Michigan? Okay. Show me how big they are compared to Georgia. I don't give a damn how big Texas is compared to Michigan. Michigan ain't nobody in 2024. Don't nobody care about how big Sharon Moore's boys are, because we don't expect them to compete for no championships. When Texas plays Georgia, and if you still think Texas has got a bigger squad than Georgia, come talk to me. Come talk to me. Come tell me what you think. I don't want to hear nothing about seeing somebody in a tunnel at Michigan and going, damn, Texas bigger than Michigan. Yeah, of course they bigger than Michigan. They're better than Michigan too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got to hide behind this. But I'm looking at Shedeur and I'm looking at Arch, and what I see is the continuum of loved and feared, okay? Shedeur leans toward, the be feared. It is better to be feared, right? Also the title of Seth Wickersham's book about the Patriot Dynasty. And Arch leans toward it's better to be loved. And I think given our druthers, we would all very much love to be loved. I don't think any of us grows up wanting to be hated. We just we're better heels. Like for instance, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, tried to show up in WWE as a character named Rocky Maivia. He wore these Hawaiian shirts, these ridiculous glasses, and he was trying to be a babyface, right? That's wrestling parlance for good guy. But it wasn't working, because the crowd, you, me, we was like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, so I'm going to boo you. That's what I'm going to do. And Vince McMahon, who is a lot of things, but also very good at telling people who they should play in the WWE, said, look, I can keep shoving you down the audience's throat as a face. We can do that. I thought it was a good idea to start. Maybe it's just going to take longer time to hold. So we can do that. Or we can just turn you heel. I got to tell y'all, when The Rock turned heel, we were all on board. You know what I'm saying? Right down to shut up and then the B word, you know what I'm saying? Right up until, can you smell what The Rock is cooking? And then they give you that eyebrow, you know what I'm saying? Give you a little look. And then you had that really great rivalry with Stone Cold, who was the perfect foil for him. You know what I'm saying? It worked. But that's only because he embraced being the heel. He embraced wearing the black hat. Sometimes that's the play. I think right now for Colorado, that is the play. Stop trying to point fingers at media members or at how people are talking about you, and just wear the black hat. You know what I'm saying? Be as bad as you want to be. What you got to prove to anybody at all? If you win in football games, the narrative changes. The narrative. Three things I hate when people say this in comments, because it is lazy. This guy, as if I'm not RJ and I'm right here. You start a comment with this guy, I'm going to dismiss you. Okay? You start a comment with the media, I'm going to dismiss you. I'm not the media. I'm RJ. Okay? Name names. I don't want anybody coming out here with no sources. Okay? And then the third thing is the narrative. The narrative, Man, my master's in professional writing. I don't think some of y'all know what narrative means. You know what I mean? Just like I don't know that enough people think they know what irony means. You need to tell me what it is you're actually talking about and be plain and speak true, okay? So turn to heel if that's what you got to do. And I think, there's nothing wrong with that. Heels are fun. Sometimes I got to play heel. I don't always like playing heel. I don't think anybody really likes playing heel until they get good at it. But, it's like Roman Reigns saying, hey, acknowledge me. Dog, you put that on a shirt. Hey, acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. Man, I could do it. It's fun. All right. So there's that. But Arch is also on the other end of this because Arch doesn't say anything to anybody. There's nothing offensive about Arch Manning. It's all, I don't want to say leave it to Beaver because that sounds like a dig and I don't want it to come off like that. But he is proof that you can be a superstar and not say much. He's leaning into his father's name, right? His family name of Manning, just like Shedeur. But he has taken on the persona of his patriarch, Archie. He does not do much complaining. He plays hella football. He doesn't really want to talk to anybody about anything else other than playing football. And he is such a college kid that he has lost his college ID not once but twice. And somebody put that on a poster for the Colorado State game. I'm like, oh, y'all all in on Arch. And again, Shedeur's out here talking about what the offensive line didn't do. Shedeur's daddy's out here trying to tell us that, he walks off because of concussion protocol when it didn't look that way. All right, cool, bet. Let that go. But the way in which sometimes these things are being communicated just doesn't feel good. Meanwhile, with Arch, who's doing the talking for Arch? His granddaddy and his uncles. And his uncles and his granddaddy are beloved. Both of them dudes won Super Bowls, and they all answer to Archie. It becomes easier to root for him as a face. If Arch Manning tried to be a heel, we'd be like, hey, stop being so corny. You know what I'm saying? We'd be like, hey, sit down, be cool. We'd be like, be Arch. Same thing I'm saying with Shedeur. Be Shedeur, dog. Be bad as you want to be. Wear your 2 Chainz. You know what I'm saying? I can't believe it's taking me this long to make a 2 Chainz reference to Shedeur. 2 Chainz. Anyway, I also think it's kind of fitting that Shedeur is unafraid to be like his daddy, out there. He when the time calls, he will be on Front Street. He'll put somebody out. He'll call people out. He'll say what you mean. That's how you get down. And that dude is tough as his daddy too. I say this, but again, it's a point to raise because I think it is a data point when we start talking about NFL draft stock. The boy broke a vertebrae in his back last year because the offensive line wasn't no good. Got sacked 50 times, got hit 199. Couldn't play the last game of the season because of the back. He is tough. So bring that toughness to the press conference. Everybody going to acknowledge that. In football, I don't think that there's a higher honor than people telling you that you are tough. It matters. I think that sometimes, though, the traits of being a face are just more attractive. A quiet confidence and a sincere humility is always going to be more attractive. And by the way, you can do that as a heel, but it is a tough needle to thread. It is a really, 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 really tough needle to thread to be a heel who also is quiet and humble. It's hard. I even struggle now to think about who has pulled that off in contemporary sports. It's just kind of difficult. But I wanted to throw that out there because I thought it was worth having this conversation, right?